whenever you have incessant delay. Now, I'm not talking about delay that happened during COVID. COVID happened, there was delay, but people shipped. But many people eventually did not have issue again afterwards. I'm talking about delay that happened that it just shows that, look, there's just something you are missing out. In today's video, my focus will be on what I titled the undeniable evidence. The undeniable evidence or the undeniable sign of lack of export readiness. The undeniable evidence or the undeniable sign or the undeniable sign and symptoms of lack of export readiness. The undeniable sign of lack of export readiness. A lot of people come into export and they fail for many years. I've asked important questions around why is it that some businesses do export very well and some businesses have not been able to make it in export business. What is it that makes some people very good and what is it that makes some people find it difficult to be successful? And this is just generally for business, but I'm particularly interested in export, and I've done several research on this. So I've asked this important question: why is it? What makes some businesses stick, and what makes some businesses unable to pull through when they come into this space of export? And I realized that many are not successful because they are not ready for export business. They are not ready, and they are not ready because of a lot of factors around it. In another video, I'll be talking about export readiness factors. But today, my focus is on what you see in a business that is going into export or already in export that makes you to know that this is not ready. Now, some of these signs, having it occasionally might not mean the business is not ready. But if it's always happening, it's a sign that there's something the business needs to do about the issue of readiness. And the business can be ready, almost ready, midway to ready, just starting, preparing to start. Now, those that are ready and almost ready can start exporting. Those that are midway to start should not start exporting. Of course, just starting and beginning to start, not start exporting. And these are the outcomes you get when you do some export readiness assessment that you will find online. So let's start. Export readiness. So before we say, we are talking about undeniable evidence that this is not export ready. So the question we should first ask is, what is export readiness? Export readiness. What is export readiness? Export readiness, I will call it ER, is a multifaceted concept. So we are going to look at the different aspects of it. Multifaceted concept. Multifaceted concept. Multifaceted concept. Number one. Number two, it involves the ability of a business to successfully enter the market, that's the enter the export market. Number two, sustainably compete in the market. And number three, significantly grow is market share and take on market share in that market. So it's a multifaceted concept and it actually involves 15 facets or 15 factors. It's a multifaceted concept that involves the ability of a business to successfully enter the export market, sustainably compete in the export market, and significantly grow its market share until it becomes established in the market. Successfully enter, sustainably compete, significantly grow. These are very important areas. Meaning a business can be successful but not sustainable. Those are the businesses that drop out along the line. It can be successful, sustainable, but not significantly growing. So it's been exporting, but the brand is not a big brand in the market. When you look at that sector, is not taking a reasonable share among the people doing similar business or shipping from other countries. Readiness helps you to be able to achieve this feat. Number one, multifaceted concept, 15 of them, which I'll talk about in another video. Number two, successfully enter the export market. Successfully enter the export market. Number three, sustainably compete in the market. And lastly, significantly grow its market share. So, having defined what readiness, so when I begin to talk about readiness, and you understand what I mean. Let's now look at the undeniable evidence of lack of export readiness. What do you see in a business that makes you to know that I'm not sure this business is ready for export? I'm not sure they are ready for export. I'm not sure they are ready for export. Number one is delay. 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 Delay in getting buyers. Delay in sourcing for funds. Delay in doing documentation. Delay in shipment. Delay in getting paid. Whenever you have incessant delay. Now, I'm not talking about delay that happened during COVID. COVID happened, there was delay, but people shipped. But many people eventually did not have issue again afterwards. I'm talking about delay that happened that it just shows that, look, there's just something you are missing out. There's just something you don't understand. And I've seen a lot in this space. I've seen a situation where people are investing so heavily into export business, but they are not spending money to learn about the business. It's like people that spend a lot of money for the wedding, but do not spend a lot of money, time, energy preparing for the marriage. They are interested in the glamour of the wedding. They are not interested in the marriage, in making the marriage work. So these people are interested in getting money to do the business and make the income. But they are not interested, for one strange reason, I don't know. They are not interested in learning about the business. So they have delays. It's always a knowledge gap issue. The delay is a knowledge gap issue. What you don't know, you don't know. When you know better, you do better. If you choose not to know, it's going to show. And I tell people, if you are in business or you're trying to do business, you will pay school fees. You will pay school fees two ways. Either compulsorily through experience or voluntarily through education. I go for education, I go to enroll for a program, I go to learn voluntarily. And I can determine the cost of that, I can quantify the cost of that. But compulsorily, I can't quantify the cost of that. I can't determine that. Compulsorily through losses, through experience, as a result of the loss. And sometimes, it might still not be enough. Maybe just an area that I made that loss is not covering other areas that I might encounter as I go into the business in the future. Delay is a big challenge that many people face when going to export business. The question I want to ask you is, are you facing delay continuously? Because immediately you have a delay, you should be able to know, okay, this is what costs, this is what I need to do. When you don't know what you need to do, that's a sign that something is wrong with your understanding of the concept or how the business works. Delay. Now, let me tell you another thing that happened. Because of delay, you might end up having demurrage. And I will talk about this in respect also to discrepancy. I'll come to discrepancy, demurrage. Now, when I have delay, one aspect of delay, for example, delay in shipment, could lead to demurrage. What is demurrage? Demurrage is the fee paid for the usage of container beyond the free period while the container is in the custody of the shipping line. Demurrage is the fee paid for the usage of container beyond the free period while the container is in custody of the shipping line. That demurrage fee I am paying is as a result of delay. So delay eventually leads to demurrage. Now, if I always have to deal with the issue of demurrage, I always have to pay for demurrage, it's a sign something is wrong. It's a sign there's a problem. It's a sign there's something I need to deal with on this matter. It's a sign. And it's of major concern I need to look at. Because demurrage means I will be incurring costs I did not factor in ab initio. Demurrage means I'll be incurring the cost I did not factor in ab initio. The implication of that is it will affect me, it will affect my business. Demurrage. Demurrage is the fee paid for the usage of container beyond the free period while the container is in the cost of shipping line. Discrepancy. Whenever, international trade is a business of documentation. Whenever I present documents to the buyer or to his bank, and there is inconsistency between the document I presented and the document that we agree upon in our contract. I will also talk about contract sometimes in future. In our contract, in the agreement between buyer and seller, in our contract, if I do not factor that in, all that have been put on the contract. For example, I'm asked to present invoice, packing list, certificate of origin, person certificate, fumigation certificate, certificate of analysis. If they put all these documents, I need to ask my question, a particular question. Can I get all these documents? If I can't get it, then I need to inform the buyer I'm not going to be able to get this document. By the time I'm having discrepancies, or I got the document and the details are incorrect, and every time I'm having such issue, it's a sign of lack of readiness. Interestingly, demurrage and delay and discrepancy lead to delay lead to demurrage. Discrepancy lead to delay lead to demurrage. Discrepancy might mean document will not be released by the bank to the buyer, and that means buyer will not be able to clear the goods. So it's incurring delay, that's causing delay and ultimately leading to demurrage. So delay, demurrage, discrepancy, then defect in the goods. Defective goods. One of the biggest challenges in Africa for export business is this: defective goods. Because Africa do a lot of commodity exports, right? And because we do a lot of commodity exports, they are primary products gotten from the ground. And because they are gotten from the ground, even including solid minerals, they are prone to death, impurities, in some cases moisture issue, defective goods or defectiveness in goods. Defective good or defectiveness is good. Defective goods will mean I'm exporting products that will not be accepted by the buyer. And if the buyer is here to pay, most likely he will not pay. The buyer is here to pay, most likely he will not pay. Now, that's a sign I'm not ready for export, because I should know about my product. What should I know about my product? I should know the purpose of the product. I should know the parameter required by the buyer for the product. Based on the purpose it's being used for, what are the expected parameters? There's something interesting about export. There's no such things as good quality or bad quality. What I mean is this: some product might look bad, but some buyer will use it, even though they will buy at a lower price. Particularly for solid minerals, some people can buy lead ore 60-70%. Some people will buy lead ore 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, 30%, depending on the kind of capacity of their factory and what they are going to use it for. Even for agri commodities also, some shea butter have high level of free fatty acids. Some people will not buy, but some people will buy depending on what they want to use it for. So to a very large extent, not in all cases, there's no such things as bad quality. Quality is determined by the buyer. The buyer might still be able to use it in spite of the low grade. There was a time we shipped a shea butter, one of my country of shea butter to the US. The shea butter was not well sealed, so there was spot under. The buyer rejected it. The initial buyer rejected it, but another buyer bought it, even though he bought at a lower rate. But he bought it, he's still able to use it, even though the other buyer could not use it because of the purpose for which that buyer was buying it. So, defective goods. How do you solve this problem? We'll be discussing that in another video. I'm here to just talk about what are the signs that you are not export ready. Another one is death. I call it death of knowledge or ignorance. Bereft of knowledge, completely ignorance about the business. When I was talking the other time, when you say you are export ready, one of the things you will have been able to do well when you are export ready, one of the things you will have been able to do well is the fact that you will have mastered very well. You will have mastered very well every detail and terms involved in international trade. Because when you are fixing export readiness, it's all about learning, coaching, mentoring, learning. Because all the lack of readiness is just one thing you don't know, or you don't know how to do well. You don't know, or you don't know how to do well. Depth of knowledge. With depth of knowledge, you can fix defective good, you can know the quality specification and how to deal with it. You can fix discrepancy, you can consequently fix delay and fix demurrage. Now, because of all these, people then incur debt. If I'm always incurring losses every time I export, is a sign of lack of export readiness. There's always losses being incurred. There's always losses being incurred. There's always if I am always incurring losses, it's a sign of lack of export readiness. If I'm always having losses, it's a sign of lack of export readiness. It's your job, therefore, to become export ready by learning. Else, you will find yourself incurring delays, demurrage, discrepancy, defective goods, debt of knowledge, debt losses, and lastly, I call it dropout. So, and I've met a lot of dropout of export business. I've met a lot of dropout. People say, I love that business. I wanted to do it. I started, but I lost money. It's painful because it's not making the sector to grow, because a lot of people come in and have issues and then leave. And they left because they were not profitable, they lost money. But the question is this loss of money could have been prevented. How? By just learning. Debt drop out. Because the debt gets to a point where you no longer have money to be able to do the business. So remember the concept of export readiness, a multifaceted concept that involves the ability of a business to successfully enter the export market, sustainably compete in the market, significantly grow in share until become established in the market. Then you have the sign of lack of export readiness, which are delays, demurrage, discrepancies, defective goods, debt, and dropouts. I believe you've learned one or two things again today in this video. We're sharing different things around import-export business. See you in the next video, and bye for now.